Okay, so update regarding the sculptures. So, as we see, we have various worms of all sorts, snakes. The later ones are with quite a bit of material because it's taken from the crucible. So I'm emptying the crucibles now. As you remember, we have quite a bit inside the crucibles of material that is full of Neros and also life form, but a ton of Neros. So I'm creating, after like the big worms, now I create this stuff that, I'm not sure like whether I would create like a huge like worm out of it, like really big one. Worms are, of course, the creatures that have the Neros in their body, and the bigger the symbol is, and more Neros in it, the more the symbol is in effect. Or maybe to convert it in, using gray synthetic clay into uranium rods. Not sure regarding the uranium's issue. I'm really like, I'm like, I'll be honest, as you say, מתלבט, searching for the correct course of action, because again, we need to think about like long-term solution. And it's not something. Any short-term solution is not something that will be of interest to me. And the problem is harvesting uranium from another planet. So this should be solved, and part of the solution is, of course, the destruction of the worms. So maybe I'll go that route, because these are the creatures that that actually do the slave trade, and it's like surrounding activities, I should say. Because at any given moment, it's not like there are like huge amount of processed uranium all over the world. There is some kind of storage, obviously, but by definition, it's an intermediary product. It's something between the raw material and the usage, like the final product, which is energy. Okay, I'm asking myself. Yeah, so but it's good that I speak about it, because it's kind of clears my mind that yes, we should create like bigger worms. This will be like a huge worm from 5 like these rods, each contain ton of material from the crucible, ton of Neros, and of course we can create even more, because I have quite a bit of natural clay that this thing. Still I haven't used most of it, which is great, and also other types of clay. Even though honestly I think that I already need natural clay, like both this and the terracotta. Sometimes this will be all done too, but I can still create quite a bit of stuff from it. Certainly that what's count is not like how big it is, but also it's important to be big. The bigger the more effective. But what mostly counts is the number of Neros that are inside, and so I can up the game, and put even more material than now. Maybe empty the whole big crucible that is still a ton of material inside of it into one big sculpture. I just need to think what should it symbolize. Even though the more think about it, the most effective and correct way is to see is humans, which are of course the snakes, like the worms that are the symbol of humans, because any other material is just it's not important enough, and it's not going to give solution to my problem. I need the theater to stop. I need to live. I need to be able to breathe, to be alive and to breathe, to see my daughters without being forced to lie all the time. Just so maybe I'll have basic freedoms of not to be tortured for a couple of minutes a day, and then back to the torture. That's my life, and the more I think about it, the more I understand that there's nothing. Even regarding the gates, even if they were open or if they were closed, it doesn't really matter, because the problem is the Nazi regime, and the fact that people abroad are fine with the fact that there is a Nazi regime that's subjugating the person that you owe so much to him and force his daughters. And really, I mean, from that perspective, the only way is to continue there with the snakes, and that's what I should do. Maybe I'll kind of like, I mean, do something, I mean, that will symbolize like the tongue, because now we have issue with the tongue. I understand that some people already started like, I mean, to get like, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but if I mean, I do not follow the comments because I'm like into the sculpturing, you know, with all my heart, and before that in the painting. But I understand that some people still, I mean, already, I mean, all around the world, I mean, started to feel the beneficial, you know, the beneficial effects like of the Dr. Shakshuka, you know, the worm that is like the microbe that is expert in inflammatory diseases of the oral cavity. So if so, I'm happy for you. I have a little bit of experience with that because I was infected with that, something like that. I mean, probably you will, I mean, enjoy it much longer. But I mean, the good side is that it will give you time to think. And by all means, I mean by God, I mean, I swear by God that, I mean, yeah, if there's something that humans lacks is thinking, like not in a metaphorical way, but really, I mean, just stop and think like, what do you do? And I mean, does it make sense? And like, how much of what you do is just, I mean, blindly following the orders of your ego while you destroy the world. So yeah, it's not going to pass very quickly, and I really know, I know that you don't, I mean, the last thing that you feel like that you want to do is to speak when you have it. I know, like I have it for like a day or two, and then I mean, after some time, another like half a day. So I know you don't want to speak at all, because each, like, you know, movement of the mouth, I mean, reminds you of this thing, and this is disgusting. I mean, you know, that's part of the plan, you know, that's part of the conversation must stop. I mean, it became, you know, it became not only disgusting and evil, but insane, just insane. I mean, the fact that people still speak, you know, while the Israelis are torturing a representative of civilization that can wipe all of you in like a press of a button. I mean, I understand it. I mean, when they do it for so long, I mean, you start to think, I mean, so, okay, so I mean, they're doing it. I mean, and so it's fine because it was like that for so long. But I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, you can only be destroyed once. So I mean, the people that are going to destroy you are giving you more, I mean, you know, time to repent. But I mean, eventually, time's up, and then you're dead. Like, I mean, so it's not true at all to think that, yeah, I mean, if they're torturing him until now and we're still alive, it means that it's fine to torture him. No, it's not. I mean, it's not the way. I mean, you hear it like a theater outside. I will not live in theater. No. Anyway, it reminds me to, yeah, I mean, to get back to work. So that's what we will do. We will continue to create like snakes from natural clay, filled with ton of stuff from the crucible, and if it's done and we still have clay and toilet paper, like, I mean, what I will do is maybe start emptying the metal container, which is like the biggest one, and also I'll take like a microscopic examination from it, just, I mean, because I'm curious, and maybe also from the remnants that I have in the crucible, because I didn't like use like 100% of the material, maybe like, you know, 95%, but some are still left there, so it's going to be interesting. But next stage is the metal container. The metal container is I mean, it's aquarium. It's like mostly liquid, even though not only liquid. There are like much, like, you know, wax, like beeswax inside of it, and all sort of like other junk. But the water, I mean, it's an interesting question. Like, how do you put it in a sculpture? Even though not impossible, it's not impossible. I mean, there are ways to do it as well. I mean, but I mean, this contains like a ton of neurons, like, I mean, really, you know, billions of huge ones. So this will be the next, I mean, after the crucible, it will be the next thing to empty. Again, just, I mean, for people that don't understand the situation, no, it's not worth million, it was many billions, but I cannot sell that I'm a slave in the Nazi state. And the existence of this thing only make my life worse. And I mean, it's like a similar situation is in effect for something like 2 years now. I mean, yes, I mean, now I have a tremendous amount, like much more than ever, because of the successful like, laboratory experiment to actually like make them grow and multiply. But even before that, I mean, basically it was the same. I had like, you know, I had all sorts of like, you know, my semen, it was like, the pure Neros, and at the time it was actually pure because it was before I was infected with so many diseases. Like, it's like that years ago, and I and I already at that time, like, placed everything inside the eggs, and most of it was destroyed. Eggs like that, these like you see here. By the way, while the sculpture is drying, it's like in effect, and when it's completely dry, it's stopping. It stops like its effect. And the effect is for destruction of, like, these Neros, like in the bodies of, so this of course signifies the Titans, and I think that there are no more Titans in Israel right now, probably for quite some time. I mean, because I don't think it has. I mean, the latest ones, like the eggs, these eggs actually contain 12 Neros. It's like the very healthy eggs, like not the eggs of the first model or the second. This is like, one of the latest model of the eggs that contains like much more than ever, like, Nero juice, like much more than eggs in the past. But I think that, I mean, when this plate was finished, actually there were no metals like in Israel. I mean, there were only, the hybrids, all the caracals that, I mean, that are. At some point you ask yourself, what actually is the difference? I mean, besides the fact that, I mean, one species was always like the subjugator and the tormentor, and the other species was and still is a slave, but also sometimes also subjugator and tormentor. I mean, and a slave. I mean, this is human. This is the earth. This is a disgusting place. A disgusting place. Anyway, I mean, unless someone have any other kind of suggestion what should be destroyed by the starships, I think I'll focus on natural clay, worms and snakes, because this, I mean, the only thing that I can think of that actually, I mean, getting me closer to my goal, which is to be able to breathe without, and to meet my daughters, and to just, to live without, to be under the sky without ever constant presence of predators.